So let's go ahead and have a seat at the front of the mat and just kind of get tuned into our bodies today. So find your straight spine, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, take a deep breath in, big exhale through the mouth, close your eyes, and just kind of take a moment to really feel into your body, feeling muscles and bones and joints, organs and skin, every part of you, just checking in physically. And then begin to do a nice, deep, slow Ujjayi breath if you can. Start to check in with your thoughts. And your emotions, and your energy, and your sense of connection. And we'll start off by simply setting our own personal intentions. So bringing palms together in front of the heart. Just taking a moment to be really clear about what you need to receive from your practice today. When you are clear, take a deeper inhale. Big exhale through the mouth. And release. So if your legs are crossed, perfect. You're going to stay there for now and put your hands on your knees. If your legs are extended, you can just tuck your hands under your thighs. We're going to do 3 slow torso circles in each direction. I want you to really feel into your hips and your low back as you do this. You're breathing in while you're leaning back. You're breathing out while you're leaning forward. Make sure you go 3 full circles in each direction. Just noticing how each part of you feels. And as you finish doing all 3 circles in each direction, just come back to the center, roll your shoulders back a couple of times. Transition onto your hands and knees. We're going to do a couple of cat-cow stretches, just keeping it really traditional here to begin with. Inhaling to arch the back and exhaling to round the back. Really going through as much of a range of motion as your spine will allow right now. And then just pause, and we'll make it a little bit lateral now. So we're going to do these with the breath. I'm going to have you inhale, take both feet to the right. Exhale, look over your right shoulder. Big inhale into that left rib cage. And then exhale back to the center. Inhale, feet to the left. Exhale, look over left shoulder. Big inhale into the right rib cage. And then exhale back to center. We'll do that one more time on each side. Inhale, feet to the right. Exhale, look over the right shoulder. Inhale into the left rib cage. Exhale back to center. Inhale to the left, both feet. Exhale, look over your left shoulder. Inhale deeply into your right rib cage. Exhale back to the center and into child's pose. Take a couple of breaths here, breathing into the low back. And then we're just going to slide forward and lengthen the spine in Sphinx. So big toes should touch, but the heels should not. And we want to actually drag our chest forward by pulling with our forearms, keeping the lower body totally relaxed. And then take your first downward facing dog. So as you do, please feel free to pedal the feet a little bit. And then when you do find stillness, also find length in the spine. Press those hips up and back and don't neglect to press the heels down. Slowly walk your feet forward. Keep your knees bent and just hang in your ragdoll. You're literally allowing the head to dangle at the end of your neck. The knees stay bent so that we can get maximum length in the spine. And then on your next inhale, arms come all the way up and overhead, stretch up. As you exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart. Just take a moment feeling rooted and grounded. And then inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. And then back down. We're going to step back with the left foot. Just hold your lunge for a moment. Kind of start letting the thighs separate a little bit here. And then if it feels okay, you can keep the left knee up, but if you want to drop it, you may. We're going to take the right hand up towards the ceiling. And then from there, let's bring the right hand down, drop the left knee, put the right hand on the inside of the right knee, literally on the inside of the knee. Roll to the outside edge of your right foot and apply just a little bit of pressure. So you're just kind of saying hello to the inner right thigh and outer right hip. From here, we're going to put the right hand back down and fully extend the right leg. Flex the ankle and toes. Bend your right knee. Bring the arms up and overhead. Tilt the pelvis back and allow the hips to move forward until you feel this on the front of your left hip. If it feels okay, you're going to bring your palms together and do a prayer twist to the right. So that left elbow is outside the right near thigh. You're pushing into the palms to kind of lift the torso up a little bit as you look over your right shoulder. And then just bring both hands down inside the right foot. See if you can come onto your left forearm. You can also use a block under that if you need to. Maybe you can come onto the right forearm as well. Take a couple of breaths here in lizard pose. And come back up onto your hands. Move the right knee back to meet the left knee. Give yourself a tail wag if you want it. Those of you who do vinyasas, this is your chance. Off you go from here. Those of us who need it to be a little gentler today are just going to move back into a child's pose. From this child's pose, you can either scoot forward into Sphinx or Cobra, either one. And then we'll move back into downward facing dog. Really focusing on lengthening the spine here, pressing those hips back and the heels down. And then go ahead and take a big step forward with your left foot. Just hold your lunge for a moment. If it feels okay, take that left hand up towards the ceiling. Remember, if you want to drop your right knee down here, you can. We're going there in a moment anyway. But if you can keep the leg up, go for it. And then we'll bring the left hand back down, drop the right knee down, left hand to the inside of the left knee, roll to the outside of the left foot, and apply a little bit of pressure. And then from here, we bring the left hand back down, fully extend the left leg, flex the ankle and toes, lengthening into that left hamstring. From here, we bend the left knee, raise the arms up and overhead, pelvis tilts, hips move forward. And then if you can, palms together, prayer twist to your left. So that right elbow is outside the left near your thigh. You're trying to press into the palms to lift the chest up as you look over your left shoulder. And then we're going to bring both hands down inside the left foot. Come on to your right forearm. You can use a block, maybe the left. And then from here, go ahead and step forward to your standing forward bend. Just pause for a moment. Make sure you're hinging at your hips. Then inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. I want you to inhale and reach up. Look up at your thumbs if that's okay with your neck. Kind of squeeze the knees together a tiny bit. Poke your tailbone back and act like you're sitting back in a chair while you keep lifting your arms up towards the ceiling. Just take one more breath here. And then straighten the legs and fold forward. Look up halfway and then all the way back down. This time you're going to step back with your right foot. So you've got a left foot forward lunge. Just hold that for a moment. Now, if you need to, please modify and drop the right knee. This is all levels, yeah? So if you need to drop your knee, please do. Otherwise, if you can hold a high lunge, let's bring the arms up and overhead. Sink the hips a little bit. Palms together for a quick prayer twist. Hands on either side of the left foot, gazing forward, straightening the left leg just as much as you can. It's okay if it doesn't go straight. And then from here, just step straight back to downward facing dog. Push your hips back, stretch it out. Take a big step forward with your right foot. Again, if you need to drop your left knee, you do that, right? You don't have to do anything that's not good for your body. So if you can, we'll raise the arms up and overhead. Pelvis tilts. We let the hips drop a little bit. Palms together. Rotating for a quick prayer twist to the right. Nice job. Hands on either side of the right foot, gazing forward and straightening the right leg as much as your body allows. Not worrying if the leg doesn't go straight. We just want to feel something in that right hamstring. And then from here, we're going to step forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. And exhale, palms together. Take your feet to the width that is appropriate for you for a yogic squat. If you can, please have your feet pointing forward. By the way, if you have a really hard time getting down with your feet parallel, play with changing the distance as far as width with your feet. Sometimes closer together is a little easier, or maybe farther apart. If you go too far apart, you won't get down with your feet parallel. So kind of play with it. See what works for you. Keep your heels flat and begin to drop your tailbone. You can have hands on thighs if you need to, or forearms on thighs, or if you can, you go ahead and just drop your tailbone and lift your heart. Whatever works for you, but we're here for 2 more breaths. On your next inhale, come all the way up, reaching arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, just turn and take that big sideways step. We're going to start with the left foot rotating in and the right foot rotating out and coming into warrior 2. I want you to just focus for a moment on the right knee, pressing out a little bit towards the little toe and imagining that your thighs are rolling outward or rolling back. Take one more breath here. And then interlace your fingers behind your back, squeeze your shoulder blades together and fold right down the middle. Try and relax your neck, try and reach the arms up and overhead. Don't forget to breathe. Come all the way back up and you can straighten your right leg. Pause for a moment. And then bend your right knee again. Left hand on the left thigh, right arm up and over, reverse your warrior. Come all the way up and bring your right forearm to the top of the right thigh. Reach the left arm up and over for a nice extended side angle. Now, for those of you who like to go deeper, we're here for one more breath anyway. You're welcome to take your right hand to the ground, but only if that works for you. You're going to come all the way back up into your warrior 2. Straighten your right leg. Lengthen your rib cage to the right. Find triangle pose. Left hand reaching for the ceiling. Remember, in our triangle pose, what we're shooting for is everything is straight and lengthening. So you want your spine to lengthen. The arms are straight, the legs are straight. Definitely the spine is straight. And then come on back up. Relax your arms. Roll your shoulders back. Woo, that's one side. Rotate the right foot in and the left foot out and find your warrior 2. As you're getting into the pose, you want to focus on that left knee kind of pushing towards the little toe. And you want to imagine that your thighs are rolling outward or away from each other. External rotation. Then interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blades together and try and fold right down the midline. If you can, relax your neck. Don't forget to breathe. And then we're coming back up. You can straighten your left leg for a moment, release the arms. And then I want you to bend your left knee again, warrior 2. Right hand on the right thigh, left arm up and over, reverse your warrior. Come all the way back up. Bring your left forearm to the top of the left thigh. Take your right arm up and over. And again, those of you that want to go a little deeper can take your left hand to the floor. Then we're going to come all the way back up and straighten the left leg again, this time lengthening the spine to the left. It's a fine triangle pose on this side. So remember, your spine is long and aligned over your left leg. You want both legs as straight as you can get them. Same thing with the arms, same thing with the back. Good, come on up from that. Roll your shoulders back a couple of times. Rotate your left foot in and then just bring the heels in a little bit. So now your feet are ever so slightly closer together and your toes are slightly pointed out. That's perfect. What we're going to do is bend the knees and make sure that they're moving in the same direction as the toes. And then here's what's going to happen. Arms are up and overhead. Oh, goody. And then from here, just like you did for chair pose, poke your bum back. Keep looking at your thumbs and start to hinge forward at the hips. Keep the knees bent. Pretty soon, Wowie, you're gonna feel your glutes. Chest and face are lifted. Bum is poking back. Knees are pressing out. This is fun, isn't it? Happy New Year. Come on up. Release your arms, roll your shoulders back. Good. And then you can just toe heel the feet together. Come back up to the front of the mat. Big inhale, arms are up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. And then exhale back down. Everybody step straight back to downward facing dog. So you're gonna take your right leg straight behind you. And I want you to bend your right knee and draw 3 big circles in the air in each direction with your right knee. Make sure you go both ways. So you're just kind of loosening up that right hip after all that hip work you just did. And then while your right knee is bent and in the air, allow it to kind of drop behind you. So downward facing scorpion, it's like your right hip bone is rotating up towards the ceiling. Put your right foot back down. Drop to your knees for a moment. Take a breath. So just in case you have wrist issues or if that's challenging for you, you can take a breather. All right, we've got to do the other side. So you're back into your downward facing dog. Left leg into the air. Bend your left knee. 3 big circles in the air with your left knee in each direction. Make sure you go both ways. And then while your knee is bent in the air, just kind of let it start dropping behind you. So your left hip is rolling open towards the ceiling. Downward facing scorpion. Bring your left knee back down, left foot back down, sorry. And then drop to your knees. Those of you doing vinyasas, off you go. The rest of us will just take a little breather in child's pose. Scoot forward onto your stomach into Sphinx or Cobra if you were with me in a child's pose. And then we will meet up with all of our vinyasa buddies in a downward facing dog. Just stretch. From here, walk your feet forward. Take a big inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, palms together in front of the heart. We're turning sideways again. I want you to go pretty wide with your feet. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that sort of side lunge, side squat. It's called Skandasana. You're gonna pay attention to any knee issues that you have. And so in other words, don't do it if it hurts, right? If it's just challenging, awesome. If it's painful, forget about it and just skip it. We're gonna start by slightly rotating the right foot out to the right. You're gonna begin to bend your right knee and make sure it's tracking over your toes. So if you need to adjust the foot, do that. Now, as the right knee is bending even deeper and we wanna keep the heel flat, we're gonna have the left toes point up towards the ceiling. Hands can come down if you need to support yourself. If you feel like you can, your palms come together in prayer and you just let your hips sink and you get a nice stretch in that left inner thigh. One more breath. Good. Come all the way back up. Roll your shoulders back. Take a breath. Now we're going to adjust the feet. So your left foot is going to slightly rotate out. You have to find just the right angle, right? That's why we start bending the left knee slowly so you can make sure you're going in the right direction. So your left knee is going to start to bend. You want to make sure it tracks over the second toe of the left foot. Right toes are going to face the ceiling. Hips sink. Your left heel is flat. Hands are either on the floor or they're in prayer position as your hips drop down. If you're feeling this in your right inner thigh and your left glute, you're doing beautiful. Good. Come all the way back up. Roll your shoulders back. And then make sure that your feet are perfectly parallel, pointing forward. Just grab your elbows Hinge at your hips and hang for a moment. You've earned it. Take a couple of breaths. Walk your hands over towards your right foot and just stretch for a moment. If you can keep your right leg straight, you'll get the best stretch. And then walk your hands over to your left foot and stretch over that leg. And by the way, if the knee needs to bend, please let it. And then come back to the center, toe heel the feet in a little bit. Take a huge inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. And then exhale, palms together in front of the heart. So now for our balance, we're doing that hip opening kind of figure 4, where you hinge the hips back and lean out over your leg. Your body's prepared for this. You've been opening your hips. You've done a couple of different squats with your heels flat. You've done chair pose and that wide squat with your arms and your hip hinge in that direction. So your body's ready for this. It's kind of the culmination of everything you've done. So we're gonna stand on the right foot first, and you're gonna cross your left ankle over your right knee, flex the ankle, and then press the leg out. So when you look, it looks like figure 4. Then you're gonna raise your arms up. Now, I'm not gonna ask you to look at your thumbs because that would mess with your balance, but you get the idea. Your back needs to stay extended or slightly arched. You start pushing your hips back like you did in chair pose or like you did in that squat, but you keep your chest and your face pointing forward. You're basically trying to kind of squat down to get your torso over your left shin. If you feel this in your left glute, you're doing a perfect job. And we'll take a couple more breaths. And then just come on up and release the arms. Roll your shoulders back. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. And I'll kind of turn to the side so you can see. You want to make sure your hips push back and not that the knees push forward. So now we're standing on the left foot. You're going to cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Flex the ankle. Remember, the arms are up and your chest stays lifted. And you start to push the hips back as you're bending your left knee, keeping your spine extended. And you just kind of try to get your torso out over that right shin until you feel it in your right glute. And then you just take a couple breaths. Come all the way back up and put your right foot back down on the ground. Roll your shoulders back. Feet together at the front of the mat. Palms together. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. And then exhale, back down. Step back onto your hands and knees. Arch and round your back. Now, those of you doing vinyasas, you may take one last one here. Those of you doing child's pose with me, just sink your buns to your heels. Take a couple of breaths into the low back. Scoot into a final spine lengthening Sphinx. And then we'll all meet up in one last downward facing dog. Palms are spread. Shoulder blades are moving away from each other. Your spine is lengthening because you're really pushing your hips back and you're pressing your heels down. And then from here, just walk your feet forward and have a seat in Dandasana. So you're gonna find your sit bones, get that nice straight spine, keep your legs active, and just take a moment here and check in. Things should feel different in your body. You've done a lot of hip opening already. So noticing any physical changes, making sure you're still connected to your breath. checking in with thoughts, emotions, energy. And then we're gonna go ahead and keep the right leg straight. I want you to bring your left foot to the inside of the right thigh, lean out over your right leg for a moment. Come on up. We're gonna pick our left foot up. So being mindful of knee issues, we're going into this pose, cow face pose, Gomukhasana this way, because if you have knee issues, you can do this one-legged at a time. But here's what I'd like you to do. You're gonna bring your left knee all the way over on top of the right one, as much as your body can. Now, I'm not perfect at this pose, so you're just gonna do what I say, not what I do. Or at least yours will probably look better than mine. But the idea is to actually pile your left knee on top of the right one. If you need to keep your right leg straight, you go for it. If you can, you go ahead and bring your left leg back as well. Right leg, sorry, that was the underneath leg, right? And so your knees are kind of stacked on top of each other. Now, for me, my goal is really just to keep my left glute, in this case, on the ground and try and get my knees to stack. I have tight hips, so it doesn't look beautiful. Some of you probably look far better than I do. For me, this is enough. For some of you that have very open hips, you're gonna wanna just fold forward over your legs. And for those of you who have super supple shoulders, if you would like to complete the pose, your right arm would reach up and then behind you to touch between the shoulder blades, and your left arm would reach around behind and you would clasp fingers. So give it a shot, take a couple breaths. And then just unwind it all and extend your legs out and give them a good wiggle. And so remember, you can do this just a half with just the top leg if you need to. Be mindful of your knees. So now we're going to keep the left leg straight. Bring the right foot to the inside of the left thigh and just lean out. Come on from that, pick your right leg up. And so the whole idea here is you're gonna bring it all the way across. You're trying to get your right knee on top of the left. This is a perfect place to stay, right? You might already be feeling it. If you want, you go ahead and bend the left knee, but you try and keep your knees piled. So again, some of you will be doing this beautifully. Mine is not so visually pleasing, but I'm feeling it, and that's all that matters. And I hope you're feeling it too. So if you're not feeling it, you're going to want to lean forward. Those of us who do feel it are just going to try and keep that right glute flat. And then for those of you with comfortable shoulders that would like to finish the pose, the left arm goes up and drops behind like you're touching your shoulder blades, and your right arm reaches around behind, and you clasp fingers. That part's optional, by the way, fully dependent upon shoulder issues. And then we unwind, completely unwind your legs and give them a good wiggle. And then lift your chest, lift your arms. You'll notice we've done this a lot today. We're going to do it again. We're going to keep the chest lifted and extend the spine, lengthening out over both legs. Relax your shoulders, but keep your chest and your face pointing forward so that you have an extended spine. So we're trying to lengthen out. It's like we're trying to slide the bottom of the rib cage forward towards the knees, right? So it's a little different than a rounded back pose. You want to keep your chest lifted. Take one more breath. And then come on up from that. Roll your shoulders back. Put your hands right behind your backside on the mat. So this will keep you from using your hands to help your feet. You're just going to bring the soles of the feet together. Wherever they land is where they belong. And then we're going to press the knees out to the side and down towards the floor. And then you're going to keep the soles of the feet together, but now you can let go of the floor with your hands. Slide your feet way out in front of you. Soles of the feet are still together. And again, chest is lifted. We don't want to round down yet, but I will give you the opportunity. Kind of nestle your rib cage down between your thighs, continuing to have the heart and the face pointing forward so your back is arched. Take a couple of breaths. In this position, you should feel it a little bit in the sacrum. You might feel it in the outer hips. Now, for those of you that would like to feel it more along the upper and mid back, you are welcome to round down and put your head towards your feet. Come on up from all of that, extend your legs, wiggle them. And from here, you get to just roll down onto your back, hug your knees into your chest, and side to side rock. Then we're going to move into a really traditional figure 4 stretch. I'm going to have you put your left foot flat on the mat with your knee bent. Cross your right ankle over your left knee and flex the right ankle. And then you're going to reach through and either grab the back of the left thigh or the front of the left shin and start pulling your left knee in towards your chest. If you keep your right ankle flexed, you should definitely feel this in your right glute. Couple more breaths here. And then you're going to keep your right ankle crossed, but put your left foot back on the mat. Drop your left knee over to the left until that whole sole of the right foot, you want the whole bottom of your right foot touching the ground. You're going to use your left hand against the inside of the right thigh and push on it. Keep your right foot flat. Try and keep your right glute moving towards the floor. Couple of breaths. You should feel this. Most of us, it's pretty subtle on the outer of the right hip. If it's an exciting stretch for you, then you might have a tight iliotibial band, IT band. Bring the legs back up. You can uncross them, hug them in, rock side to side. And then put your right foot flat, cross your left ankle over the right knee, flex that left ankle, and then reach through just to come into your regular figure 4 stretch. So you're grabbing either the back of the right thigh or the front of the right shin, and you're pulling your right knee towards your chest until you feel this in your left glute. Go ahead and keep your left ankle crossed, put your right foot back down on the mat, drop your right knee to the right, allowing the entire bottom of your left foot to hit the ground. You want the whole thing flat. That's so important. And then your right hand is going to press against the inside of your left thigh. So now you should be feeling this in your left outer hip. Bring your legs back up, uncross them, hug your knees in, and rock side to side. From here, we're going to keep the right knee hugged into the chest. Extend the left leg all the way out into the ground. Just keep that right knee hugged in deeply. And I want you to come to the right half of a dead bug. So you're going to bring your right arm to the inside of your right knee. You want to reach from the inside. Grab the arch of your right foot with your right hand. Then try and get your lower leg vertical. And then if you can, you're pulling straight down. So you want to keep your right ankle flexed. You're trying to pull this right knee kind of towards the ground. You should feel this in the back of the right thigh, and you should feel it in your glute too. Take a few breaths here. Make sure you're applying a little bit of pressure. Then just hug your right knee in again. And we're going to transition this into a twist. So the right arm's going to open out to the right, and you're just going to pull yourself over to the left. Now, deeper twist asks you to put right toes behind or inside left knee or thigh. Shallower twist says bend both knees, or you can do anything in between. So you choose what's best for you today. We're here for several long breaths, and I want you to start letting your body relax. On your next inhale, come on up. Hug your right knee into your chest. Bring your left knee up to meet it. Feel free to rock if you would like. And then keep the left knee hugged in and extend your right leg all the way out into the ground. Just hold that for a moment. And then to come into the left half of the dead bug. Remember, you want your left arm inside. So you're reaching from the middle to grab the arch of the left foot. Get the lower leg vertical and then pull straight down. So it's the left half of your dead bug. You should be applying enough pressure that you feel this in the back of the left thigh and in the left glute. And then you're gonna hug your left knee again, and we're gonna transition it into a twist. Left arm is opening out, and you're twisting yourself to the right. So again, if you want it to be deeper, you're gonna hook your left toes inside or behind, right knee or thigh. If you need it intermediate, just let that left foot be in front of, but still bent. If you need it gentler, both knees are bent. On your next inhale, come on back up, hug your left knee in, bring your right knee up to meet it, side to side rock. Now you get to grab both feet with your hands from the outside edges of their feet and just wiggle around, happy baby. So all this hip work hopefully has paid off as you're moving around, wiggling and stretching and exploring. You should feel a difference around the hips and the low back, around the glutes, maybe even a little in the hamstrings. Explore, see what you've done. And then when you're ready, I'd like you to put your feet flat on the mat. Big toes are touching, but your heels are separated. So we're going to do some therapeutic bridge lifts. You've done a lot of hard work today. This is your payoff. What I'd like you to do is follow your breath. When you inhale, your tailbone lifts, the lumbar spine lifts, a little bit of the thoracic spine lifts. At the end of the inhale, you're in bridge. And as you exhale, you start to go in reverse. You paste the mid back, the low back, and the tailbone back down. That's the end of your exhale. If you'd like to add the arms in with it, as you inhale, your tailbone and lumbar spine lift as the arms are coming up and over your head. So at the end of your inhale, you're in bridge with your arms over your head on the floor. And as you exhale, you reverse that. You press back down with the mid back, the low back, and the arms are following suit as the tailbone hits the ground. The arms are back down by your hips. We're going to do 3 more of those and just follow your own slow breath rate. It's like you're trying to lift and lower your spine 1 segment at a time. As you finish that out, you can just hug your knees in and rock side to side. And take your time finishing, no rush, no hurry. And then we're going to put our feet flat again and together. Now we're going to do that gentle breath-centered hip roll. So as you exhale, both knees drop to one side. And it can be a little bit, it doesn't have to be a full twist. Inhale the knees back up, and as you exhale, both knees drop to the other side. Inhale them back up. And just keep that nice, slow rolling of the hips going in time to your breath. The next time the knees come up, let them drop in opposite directions. Soles of the feet are touching on the mat. Knees are open. Just rest like that for a moment. Gentle inner thigh stretch. And then the next time you breathe in, press your low back into the mat. So you're trying to take the curve out of the spine. You want to just really kind of press your navel down. You're tilting the pelvis back. You're going to keep breathing normally, holding this, which shouldn't be too challenging. It should be pretty easy. And then the next time you breathe out, I want you to relax everything. You're going to feel the arch come back into your low back, and that's natural. That's fine. And then one more time, inhale, press your low back into the mat. We're just allowing those low back muscles to lengthen. One more breath. And then the next time you breathe out, relax again, extend your legs, wiggle them if you need to. Make sure they're the perfect distance apart today. And then just really allow the legs to flop. Most of us externally rotate, which means our legs will flop open. Some of us internally rotate. Your legs may roll in towards each other. Whatever they do naturally is what you want them to do. Complete relaxation of the legs. And then I want you to check in and make sure your glutes are totally relaxed. So your buns should feel soft. They should feel heavy and slightly spreading on the floor. Make sure your low back feels lengthened, your mid back feels lengthened, your shoulders are sliding away from the ears, so you're not squeezing the shoulders up. Your arms are below your shoulders, they're extended, and your palms are facing up with your fingers gently curled because they're completely relaxed. Your neck is long. There's a little bit of space between your teeth because your jaw is relaxed. And you're not squeezing your eyes shut, your eyes are lightly closed. So it feels like your eyelids are just floating on top of your eyeballs. And your forehead is smooth. Take a deep breath in. Let it all out with a sigh. And take a few breaths to really just kind of settle in here. You let your body completely relax. You let your breath go soft. And you just take the opportunity to appreciate how critical this pose, Shavasana, is. This is the pose where your body is sort of soaking in the practice. It's assimilating it and integrating it. Your cells are remembering what just happened. And that's so important because it's just like anything else. It's not like you work out and you get strong, so that's it. You never have to work out again and you just stay strong. It doesn't work that way, right? Life happens and you have to keep working out. Or you don't just find inner peace and then, whew, glad that's done. You're finished and you never have to work at it again. Life happens. So we're continually searching for that inner peace. The same is true of our yoga. It's not like we just get to a certain place and then we're done. So anytime we practice, this pose, Shavasana, gives us the opportunity to fully absorb the benefits that we've just reaped. So right now, your cells at a cellular level are remembering. And all of those cells collectively make up your muscles, your joints, your bones, your skin, every part of you. So your muscles are remembering that they're strong and also flexible and pliable. Your organs are remembering how to function perfectly. Your skeletal system is reminding itself and remembering how to be perfectly aligned. Your joints are remembering how to be comfortable and fluid and mobile. Your mind is remembering to fade into the background, to only be loud when necessary. Your heart is remembering that its natural state is love, a state of peace and equanimity. Your spirit is remembering that you are love and that you are meant to be here for whatever reason is your personal reason. And it's all good. So for the next few breaths, just bask in that, just soak in this practice that you've done today. Notice how happy your cells are as a result of your practice today. Feel the joy at a cellular level of everything that you've done today. And then start to deepen your breath. Start to move the fingers and toes. Breathing in deeply, extend and spread the fingers and toes. Breathe out through your mouth and relax them. Breathing in even deeper, stretch and extend arms and legs, your whole body, and then breathe out through the mouth again and relax. Bending your knees, either hugging them into your chest or just bringing the feet flat to the floor. Roll to your right side if you can. And then press yourself up into sitting to that nice straight spine. And as you come into that seated alignment, just really checking in to compare and contrast what your body and the rest of you feels like right now compared to the beginning of class. Anything that changed, anything is the fruit of your work, right? This practice that we do is tapas, it's discipline, and it has a payoff. And hopefully you're feeling that right now. Our pranayama today, our breath work, is just going to be a really simple ujjayi breath. So if you've been doing it forever and you're good at it, you should hear it just as loudly on the inhale as you do the exhale, and you can do it as a 1-to-2 ratio breath. If you're still trying to perfect ujjayi breathing, and that's fine, it can be challenging, then you just work on trying to get the inhale to start to sound like the exhale. And don't worry about the length of it, just hopefully your exhale is a little longer than the inhale. But this is that closed mouth, slightly restricted throat. I usually say it's like fogging up a mirror, but with the lips closed. You could also try, if you were gonna hum, but in a whisper, that's the sound that you should be making. And I want you to really listen for the sound of your own breath, because I want you to try and start getting that same sound on the inhale as what you have on the exhale. So straight spine, closed eyes. This is all through the nose, by the way. Take a deep breath in. Exhale completely. And then off you go at your own speed, just really trying to fine tune your ujjayi breathing. Go ahead and finish out the breath you're on. Take your time with it. And then just pause for one last opportunity in today's practice to notice how you feel. Maybe noticing if that breath changed anything. And then just noticing how you feel overall. Bring your palms together in front of your heart and just take a moment in gratitude that you are in the body that you're in. We're so lucky to inhabit these bodies. So just take a moment of gratitude for that. And then gratitude for the breath that keeps this body alive. Gratitude for this practice that gives us tools to enhance the body and the breath, and that ultimately helps control our mind and feed our spirits. Take one more deep breath in. Happy sigh. Palms to the forehead, just reminding us to be present, to be aware. Palms to the lips, reminding us to speak our truth. And palms to the heart, reminding us to keep our hearts open, that our true nature is love, and that we should share that along with kindness and compassion. Thank you so much for joining me today, and happy 2022. Namaste.